Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio. Ours is a place where dreams take flight, voices are heard, and stories are shared. This is where cultures meet, connections are formed, and ideas are transformed into action. This is your destination for authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives, and meaningful conversations. We're where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover our world of education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our USA Global TV channel and download our USA Global TV app. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. With heartfelt thanks to our executive producer, Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck, music scored by Yifei Tang from Cloud Road Music, creative direction by Paul Garcia, and I'm Al Cini, and I'm very proud to be part of the USA Global TV and Radio family. So join us here at USA Global TV and Radio. Make us your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication, or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited. Thank you for being a part of our global community. Let's inspire together.
Hello, welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where we provide world-class education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. Our show today is A Woman's Prerogative in partnership with E360 TV. Our topic today, I'm very excited about this one because it is going to cause some ripples, and it is I'm going to tell you what it is. Social identity and cancel culture, navigating belonging today. So this is a hot topic in terms of the fact that it might create some ripples. And at the same time, this is something that's going on. And I wanted to cover this as a topic today because there's very much been a lot of media coverage about topical issues following somebody's recent death. So I'm Caroline Heward. I'm absolutely thrilled and honoured to be representing Dr. Jacqueline as your host for USA Global TV and Radio's flagship show, A Woman's Prerogative. I'm a TV presenter on USA Global TV and Radio and the resident therapist. A very warm welcome to our loyal viewers and our viewers and friends at E360 TV and our usual social media friends at YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and X. I'm also having a great delight here in bringing on our full-time panelist, Reverend Lydia Fougeres. She is our full-time panelist. She is a TV presenter, an author, a bilingual self-help author. She's a registered nurse. She's a holistic nurse, and she is a healer. She's also invented Miracle Mist, which is patent pending, and she's an advocate for free rights. Let's welcome all the way from Canada our full-time panelist, Reverend Lydia Fougeres. Well, I guess that there's something going on in the background. I'm sure that Reverend Lydia Fougeres will join us shortly. And just getting into the topic before she comes on, maybe there's an issue with the technical issue. Ah, she's here, right. Hello.
There was an issue.
I was a little worried we weren't going to have you.
Yes, the internet failed.
Welcome. And it's always a pleasure to share this platform with you, Reverend Lydia, because our shows are always insightful sharing from both of us. We seem to live very much on the same page. And so I'm always in deep gratitude for the fact that we share this panelist show together. Please do tell our viewers, especially the ones here for the first time, a little bit about you and how you help people.
Well, I am a reverend to start with, and I'm an author. I work with reflections that are self-help books. I am a spiritual leader, and I work on personal transformation, introspection, mindfulness, and compassionate self-discovery. I invite my readers to engage in life through curiosity, clarity, and sense of sacred connection. People can join me in Canada So I will explain at the end of the show a little more about what I do. And I am the inventor of the Miracle Mist and the Perfect Mate incense that I have started selling on my Etsy shop now. Thank you.
Oh, wow. That's news to me. Thank you very much for sharing that with our viewers now. That's wonderful. Congratulations. And for me, I'm known as the Harley Street Stress Expert, and I help people bust their stress. How do I do that? I work with root cause therapy and chakra psychology, how the mind and body connects and what happens to the person physically, emotionally, mentally, and behaviorally when there's an imbalance. And the imbalance is the symptom. Some people walk around and they say, I'm not stressed. Then they complain in the next breath about a relationship issue. They complain about a physical ache and pain. They might complain that they're not sleeping. They might complain about something that's a difficulty with a work colleague or a relationship issue in their family. This is how the stress is manifesting in their life. And I help you break through the root cause that created that particular symptom in the first place. So identifying the root cause by looking at your blueprint in terms of your first session. So we break through each symptom. We do 3 symptoms per session. I also do lunch and learn talks online, both online and in person. And I'm also the resident therapist here on this channel. And I'm one of 5 Talking Heads presenters on USA Global TV and Radio. And rather than having the show, I usually have the Talking Heads episode once a month at the last Thursday of the month. The month has come very quickly, so this month I'll be doing it on the last Tuesday. That's next week. So let's get into our topic. Social identity and cancel culture, navigating belonging today. And what I first wanted to talk about, really, before we got going into the topic, is to give a brief introduction about this topic, because it was so dear to me and it made me reflect, because I kept looking at why there was so much cancel culture and why there was so much controversy and divide and what's causing it. And when I consider thinking about what's causing this, is human beings are social beings. And from the earliest tribes, we have gone from the earliest tribes to online communities. We are still a social being because we are human, and our innateness is to connect, to be sociable. We have always sought belonging and identity within groups. We have that powerful need to belong. And yet belonging to groups can create division and us versus them. It's strange how wanting to belong can create this us versus them. And in modern times, we have what is commonly known as cancel culture. And what we'll be doing in this particular episode is exploring this phenomenon where we balance identity, belonging, and division and navigate what's happening in today's world. So looking at the foundation of understanding and belonging and identity, what does belonging mean in today's society? And why is it such a powerful need? Do you have any thoughts on this, Reverend Lydia?
Well, yes, absolutely, because everyone wants to belong to a group, because everyone wants to be loved or admired or anything of the sort. So everyone tries to fit in a group, whether it is a good group or a bad group. They want to belong to a group. Why does someone want to belong to a gang? Well, this is a bad group, but at the same time, it is a group. They have a sense of being with others that think alike. So this is why there is such a very strong bond between them. They are brothers, they are sisters, and no matter if it is good or bad, they are in a so-called family that they have decided to create, to belong, because we are social butterflies. That is it.
Thank you very much, Reverend Lydia. And that really makes me think about the fact that all the way through, ever since I can remember as a child, I wanted to belong to different communities and different groups. And even as early as 5 years old, I wanted to belong to the church. I felt that I wanted an external community, an external environment. And so even at 5 years old, I remember pleading with my mum and stomping and stamping and saying, I want to go to church. And that gave me a new environment and a group, a peer group that had different values to the ones that I was growing up with my family specifically. I was open and looking at other ways of being, and I very much took on the teachings of the church when I was 5 years old. And I remember collecting all the stamps. On a Sunday, there would be Sunday school lessons for the children, and there were lessons. Did you do that in where you were growing up as well?
Yes, I went to Sunday school also.
And I had books and books of stamps of, the lessons that we learnt, the parables and the fables of the Bible. And it gave me a value structure and a belief system of doing good and being kind to other people. And that gave me some strength in believing in something that was bigger and a higher power than myself, my family, and my brothers and my mum and dad. And it was wonderful for me to belong, and to such a point that I joined all sorts of organizations. I joined a community hall around 5, 6 years old, and we had like sort of community activities, and it was just literally 2-3 minutes walk up the road. And I used to do a disco from 5 till 6. I think it was 4 o'clock till 6, which was a community group. And that was as young as 5 years old. Do you have any things that you can share that you did in terms of being part of groups and belonging to environments and activities?
Well, I was in the brownies. I was with everything that actually was there to help. I was part of the group. So I joined many communities and friends, and I created communities also because I wanted to belong. So when someone was an outsider, when you would see that someone did not belong to any group whatsoever because they were not liked or something like that, I would create something for them to be able to join me with others, because I strongly thought that everyone should have someone to be with. So when it was not there for them, I would create it. That is the way I felt.
That's amazing that we have had from such a young age. I didn't join the brownies. I think that I was a bit, let's say I was a bit not following the rules. I followed some rules, but sort of with the brownie, it was dib, and you had to be very on top. And I think I was a little bit of a rebel, so I didn't do the brownies. But I did look at it, and I did go to, I think, 1 or 2 meetings, but it didn't seem to sit for me. So it's great to hear that you did the brownies, and so I didn't escalate to things like the guides and those kinds of activities, but I took my activities into different areas. And so how does social identity shape the way that we see ourselves and others? Now, we've just been sharing about the fact that, we are aligned with different organizations. And it certainly helped me shape the way that I responded to others through the Bible, through the upbringing that I had. And I also had mentors, whereas that word wasn't really known then. We used to call them elders that looked after us and made sure that we were guided into the right direction. So what are your thoughts about the fact that how does it identify and shape the way that we see ourselves and others?
Well, we actually value ourselves a lot more because we help and we are part of a group that can influence. Because when we actually are part of a group, we are influencers. So we have to think about it, because if we decide to be part of a group, we decide to carry the message. So if we decide to carry the message, we influence others. So either it's in a good way or a bad way, we are, whoever is in a group is an influencer. That is the way it works. So that is.
Thank you very much, Reverend. So I want to now briefly look at, because it's topical and it really is very prevalent in our global society, the us and them phenomenon. Why do humans naturally fall into us and them thinking? Do you think it's instinct or culture? I feel personally that that's an oversimplification of a complex issue, this us and them. I feel it fuels conflict. I feel it fuels prejudice and also discrimination. And really in today's times, I'm seeing it much more, maybe because I'm older, maybe because I'm seeing it a lot more through social media. And I see that this us and them is very exploited by politicians and the media, create division. What are your thoughts on us and them, Reverend Lydia, in terms of the fact that does it create the us and them divide? And how good is that to be in that us and them divide?
The us and them is judgment. That is the way it is. If we think us and them is separate, well, we are in judgment. We should actually think that we are all the same. We just think differently. It is not us. It is not them. It is that we have a divergence in opinions, but it does not make us and them at all. So we should actually acknowledge the fact that if we would just forget about us and them and just say, I agree to disagree. I agree to agree sometimes. I agree to disagree sometimes. And I do not think that if I have not all the right information, I will be thinking differently differently from you. The fact is that people do not have all the information. That is why they create the phenomena of us and them. It's a lack of information and it's too much judgment.
I'm very inclined to agree with you, Reverend Lydia. Wholeheartedly, I can see there is such divide, and we are living in very divided times right now. And this is such a huge, complex issue that I feel that it's not only looking at judgment. It's almost like we're in a place that we're pushed to be in an us and them. We're pushed into thinking one or the other, and not to be in a place of agreeing to disagree. This seems to be very prevalent, especially in social media. And I want to explore this us and them topic a little bit further, but we have literally reached our commercial break. So we're just going to break for a very short commercial break. And please come back, whether you're on the live or the replay, please come back and join us so that we can continue our conversation of us and them, and also provide some solutions and some other ways of considering how to move through the us and them and the division that we find ourselves in. Social identity and cancel culture, navigating belonging today. See you after a short break.
What if one simple skill could change the way you connect with the world? What if listening could open doors to deeper relationships, stronger businesses, and a better you. Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck, the listening mentor, brings you USA Global TV and Radio, a space where voices are heard, ideas are shared, and global communities thrive. Through the elevated listeners' courses and books, you'll master the power of listening, set boundaries with confidence, and transform conversations into opportunities. Join us. Listen, learn, elevate. Whether you're a leader, a coach, a business owner, or someone seeking stronger connections, your journey starts today. Subscribe, learn, and transform today.
Hello and welcome back to A Woman's Prerogative in partnership with E360 TV. If you've just joined us and you've not heard the first part, we have been exploring social identity and cancel culture, navigating belonging today. And I'm joined with our full-time panelist, Reverend Lydia. Let's continue our conversation about us and them, the phenomenon of why humans naturally fall into us and them thinking. One of the things that I wanted to bring up is the fact that even when I was very young, we had an us and them culture in terms of our politics. Not that I really understood what the us and them was all about, but the politics was Labour and Conservative, and not wanting to get into a political conversation because that's not what this show is about. But looking at, there was already a divide, and it was known as that the Labour, I think that's red, was always about the working man, and the blue was about the man that was employing people, so that the person with money and the person without money. And I'm sure that it was a lot more complex than that, but that's what I grew to understand when I was seeing the debates on TV and not really understanding. So even from a very early age, I saw an us and them. And there's even us and them in celebrities, such as Johnny Depp and Liz Hurd, that you almost felt that through social media, you had to take sides. What are your thoughts about the us and them in some of those examples that I've shared, Reverend Lydia?
Well, the us and them phenomena sometimes is, you're better to avoid it. There is so much us and them, yes, but at the same time, you try to avoid it as much as possible, and not to actually just throw oil on the fire, because if it is not a matter that is extremely important to discuss, when it comes to a situation of us and them, and if it does not change anything in your life personally, you see, if it does not change anything in your life personally, there are many things going around in the world lately. We have to open our eyes to what is going on. And we have to understand that, I advocate for free rights. So everyone knows that I advocate for free rights. And free rights are very dangerously attacked lately. But the thing is that, we have to understand that it is not everyone that is part of groups that are seen to be extreme that think like that. They want free rights also. They want others to have free rights also. So the problem is not to put all the eggs in the same basket. We have to understand that some see the situation as difficult as us. They just are fine with some of what is said and not with the rest. That is all. There is always some truth in something that is wrong at some point. So we have to be very careful when we do the us and them, not to judge the ones that are not on our side, our so-called side, okay? Because everyone says it's my side, it's your side. But we have to be careful to that, because they are not always in accord with everything that is decided by their so-called side. So that is pretty much the way I think.
Thank you, Reverend Lydia. Always an interesting perspective. And I remember when I was growing up, just in going to church, there was, I went to the Church of England, and there was a Catholic church on the opposite side of the road. And there was this perspective that you should never go into, if you're a Church of England, you should never go into a Catholic church. That belief has long gone now from my perspective, but that's how I grew up, that if I was Church of England, then I shouldn't be going to a Catholic church. I shouldn't even enter the building, and vice versa. And that again was creating a divide, that one was right and one was wrong, or one was better than the other. And more recently, I have seen an avalanche of explosive posts about the speaker who had high opinions and was very controversial, Charlie Kirk. And I didn't even know who he was. I'd never heard of him before. And then suddenly my Facebook feed was filled with us and them, pro and against. And I felt that a man has died. Whatever his beliefs, a man has died. He's left 2 young children and a wife and family. And that's all that I considered. And I think sometimes we get so into the divide that we forget about the person, we forget about the human being who had some views, had some thoughts. I'm not saying that everything was what I agreed with and what I didn't agree with, that a human being died. And that's where I stay with my perspective. And it's important to realize that we are all human. And if some people are celebrating somebody's death, I feel that that is where humanity is taking a corner, not in the right way. So may we build ways to belong, building bridges and not walls. Whatever we may think, I think it's important. I believe it's important to remember that we are all human, and we are here having a human experience rather than having to compete and fight for something that we feel is right. It might be right, but what about us all being agreeable, that we don't have to agree with everything that everybody else thinks? What happened to the fact that we could agree to disagree, or agree to have different perspectives? In what ways can this divide create strength and unity? And what causes harm? True belonging, not about division. We want to look at creating connection, empathy, and understanding. So what ways could we create, rather than the divide, connection, understanding, and empathy? I've just shared one in terms of looking at a very controversial death where he was essentially assassinated. And I watched the video and I was absolutely horrified. It felt like we'd stepped back in time, like the Malcolm X assassination, and I just thought that it was so troubling to see something so vivid. And rather than being in that way and being divided, how can we create more connection and empathy and understanding? What are your thoughts on this, Reverend Lydia?
Well, a matter that has to be thought also is that not only one man has died, there's another one that will be executed for killing that man. So 2 men will die because of strong ideas, because of different philosophies. So this is extremists. Those are people that went to the extreme of their opinions. So they both agreed that their opinions was worth dying for. So when one thinks that their opinion is worth dying for, this is extreme. This is absolutely extreme. So when we think about that situation, there are several victims. There is not only one man that died. 2 men will die, and an entire society grieves, either for the one that died, either for the one that will die, or either for a situation, or either for the taking away the right of speech. This is serious matter that we're facing in this situation.
Thank you, Reverend Lydia. I endorse everything that you said about the freedom to speak. And this is one of the things that I wanted to talk about in terms of cancel culture. It almost feels like it's a modern form of accountability, and almost feels like it's a social exclusion, that if you don't say what I want you to say, then we're going to just cancel you. We're just going to write you off, rub you out. I find that that's just horrific, that we are in a society, we've grown so much in terms of our technology, and yet as human beings, we seem to have regressed in terms of how we approach and how we accept other people. And it's almost like if somebody's saying something that we don't agree with, we cancel them. I didn't even know what cancel culture was, because I kept hearing it. And I remember when I first kept hearing it, I thought, well, what's this cancel culture? Why is everybody cancelling somebody out? And then I started to realize after a period of time what it was, that sort of that the person had spoken out and he was no more. And it almost feels like it's a form of exclusion. So we would exclude people when we were younger, but now it's much more public. It's international because of the internet. And what are your thoughts about the fact that it is exclusion in disguise, that we cancel somebody out because they've said something or they have beliefs that we don't believe are right?
Well, the thing is that, it happens, and it used to happen again before. It is not new. Now it is because there are serious problems at the base of the problem. But it happened a lot before they went to jail. That is what happened. Think about Gandhi. Think about all the great ones that actually had wanted to speak out for something that was unfair, and then went to jail. They were jailed. Think about Navalny, that was against Putin. He was killed. He was imprisoned. He was poisoned. He was imprisoned. He went to jail and he died in jail. That was to take his speech away. So the best way was to kill him. So that was another form of murder. So when you think about that is very serious business. It's very, very serious business. So now people are either killed, put away, or taken off the air if they don't agree with the others. So we have to be careful and stop judging and let others share their opinion. And we just say our opinion, and we agree or disagree, but we don't hate. We just do not hate. That is the best thing. There's no place for hate or war in that, because we're facing situations of terrible wars ahead if things do not change.
So identity, thank you, Reverend Lydia, identity, ideology, and behavior, it's all wrapped up in this us and them, that we can get so caught up in belonging to a group, in belonging to their views and their values, that we may even get lost in a rabbit hole of what the beliefs and the ideologies of that particular group are. by being consumed in others' ideologies, we're losing our own independent views and our own personal values and beliefs. And I do feel that the internet, social media, has created a platform for people to be almost what I call keyboard warriors, to be behind the screen and to be a warrior in the words that they use, and then to be almost nondescript, so they can say lots of things without being seen publicly behind a keyboard. And what I want to do is, we're almost out of time, is to really bring this to a close by saying, let's keep this dialogue alive in our daily lives as we navigate belonging together. It's okay to have different opinions. It's okay to think differently, but consider that we are all human beings having a human experience. And strong group belonging can coexist with individuality, and as long as we can open the dialogue. So what's one strategy that you can recommend, Reverend Lydia, that can move us from division to connection?
I would recommend for people to think that we are all interconnected. No matter what they think, we are a collective. So they have to think that as a being on this earth, they are connected by their vibration to other beings. And when they have negative vibrations, they affect the others. So whatever vibration you are in, you're affecting the others. So keep your vibrations as high as possible to help others instead of being a nuisance for them. That is the way, that is what I say to those that are listening. Keep your vibrations high, very elevated.
Thank you, Reverend Lydia. Some wise words. And what comes to mind for me is one of the 10 Commandments: do unto others as you wish to be done to yourself. And so if you don't want to create somebody else's misery, how would you feel if you had had that done to you? And it always made me consider the other person in terms of being kind to them. And I always feel that if I'm going to be kind to them, then hopefully they'll be kind back. And if they're not, then I've been warned or forearmed that maybe that's not a person to get into a dialogue with. But there's so much anger and division at the moment that it is important to realize that belonging is a human instinct, and it gives us connection, it gives us safety, and it gives us identity. And when belonging turns into division, it creates barriers, and it creates exclusion, and it creates silencing. It also, we have explored tonight what the challenge is, not just about belonging, it's how we navigate it and how we balance identity with openness, and how we can create strong communities with strong, diverse connections, and choose, and not needing to choose sides, but choosing to listen. If we listen and are open to everyone's thoughts and what they believe without judgment, we can have a more connected society. Social identity and cancel culture, navigating belonging today, is to be open to listen without judgment. Reverend Lydia, we are at the end of our show. Please share how people can reach you and the best way to connect with you.
Well, people can reach me in Canada at 1-514-582-6882. They can actually also write to me at greatdivinemother@gmail.com. I have my books on Amazon, 111 Reflections for Thy Earth Odyssey, that are on Amazon all over the world. They are in English and French so far. They will be in Spanish and Chinese and Arabic also soon. They can also join me if they want to be either a guest on USA Global TV and radio, or if they want to host their own show, they can join me also, because I will give them the way to contact Dr. Jacqueline, and they will make their dream a reality. Everyone can be the host of their show, and that is the way it goes. And they can also buy my products on Etsy.com with in my boutique that is called Holy and Holy. Thank you very much.
Oh, congratulations again, Reverend Lydia, for amazing, extraordinary launch of your new product. I'm really, really happy, and I wonder how many sales that you will get in terms of finding the best. Is it the best mate?
Perfect mate.
Perfect mate. Yes. Wonderful. Perfect Absolutely. Mate. I'm sure that you'll have inundated with orders for finding the perfect mate. For me, you can find me at, if you email me on nomorestress@live.co.uk, or you can reach out and call me if you're international, +44, if you're local, 07523 120 189. Or you can connect with me and follow me on LinkedIn and Facebook and drop a message there. I do one-to-one bookings on a one-off session, or I do groups of sessions, and I also do lunch and learn events, which you can book me for an online session or an in-person session. And I look forward to helping you bust your stress. Today's topic has been a fascinating one, and I didn't actually get through all the questions that I had, and because it is such a deep and entrenched topic. Please do join us again every Monday. We are here 2 p.m. Eastern Time, which is 7 p.m. British Summer Time. Today, we've been exploring social identity and cancel culture, navigating belonging today. Please do download the app, our app, USA Global TV and Radio, and be part of the global family, bringing hope, education, inspiration through storytelling. It's available on Amazon Fire, Roku, Android, Apple TV, TikTok, X, and many more. Thank you so much for joining us. We look forward to seeing you next week. In the meantime, have a wonderful week and stay connected and be open to listen without judgment. Many thanks for joining us. And now over to our sponsors.
Get ready to wear the brand that's changing the world of media. Introducing the official USA Global TV and Radio online store. From our TV show hosts to our incredible global guests, you asked, we delivered. Rep your appearance with pride. Whether you've been on air, hosted a show, or tuned in, we have something just for you. Visit us at usaglobaltvradioshoп.myspreadshop.com and start shopping today. Check back frequently. We're dropping fresh new designs all the time. Showcase your role in our global community. These designs celebrate your voice, your story, your presence. It's more than just merchandise. It's a movement of hope, inspiration, education, and elevated listening. Head to usaglobaltvradioshoп.myspreadshop.com. Your spotlight awaits. USA Global TV and Radio. Elevate your style. Elevate the world.
Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honoured to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/USA Global TV. follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting, we're building bridges and changing lives one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Music by Johnny Dyes. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative Direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Copyright 2025. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.